Never make this mistake when you're in conversation with attractive women. I call it the question hamster wheel. Okay? This is where most men go wrong when they're in interactions. They get into a conversation. You could probably relate to this too, I would guess. Maybe you're on a date or just on an initial interaction with a woman. You get into small talk, and small talk leads to you asking a question. Right? You start panicking, you're in your head because she's really attractive. So you start scavenging your brain thinking about what's the next question I could ask her, right? And so it's gonna typically be like, how's your day going? What do you do for work? Are you from here or where are you from? Those are like the most frequently asked questions that I see. I break down a lot of my clients' conversations and recordings of their interactions. I guess a big part of my coaching program is when we push a client through the process of opening more interactions and getting him to approach women. Once we conquer that first skill set, the next skill set is we're in the interaction. Now we need to carry a conversation. Every time when I'm breaking down new interactions of clients, I hear one of those. They've already opened. The girl says, thanks. He says, so how's your day? Or what do you do for work? Or so are you from here? Like 90% of the time, it's one of those questions. And honestly, oftentimes it's back to back to back questions. Now, there's a whole 5-step process I do take my clients through, going from the open to extending the conversation to making it more flirty to leading interaction and then ultimately running a long interaction that can lead to dates and beyond. I want to break down the conversation structure and how you can start having better conversations when you're in these interactions with attractive women. If you want to know more about the clients I've helped and their transformations, my transformation, or just more details about my coaching structure, there's a more in-depth video in the description. Check that out as well, where I lay out all the details around that stuff and a lot more. But let's talk about this, because you're in the conversation, you ask the girl a question. Now, when you ask her one of those questions or something similar, typically the woman is just going to give an answer. It's going to be typically a one-word answer because you asked a one-word answer type question. How's your day going? Good. What do you do for work? Nurse. Are you from here? Yes. Or where are you from? Blank town. And so the problem with these questions, and by the way, it's okay to ask these questions from time to time, but you need to avoid the hamster wheel, the question hamster wheel, because understand that when you ask one of those questions, you're going to get a very short answer 90% of the time. And so where men go wrong is they're panicking. They ask a question. The woman gives a short answer. Where do you go to school? I go here. Or what do you do for work? I'm a nurse. You then get that one word, and then the next thought that comes to your mind, if she's a nurse, okay, well then where did she go to school for nursing? Or if you go to this school, then what year are you in? How long have you been here? Or what's your major? You keep branching to the next question, but you're kind of panicking in between all this because she's very attractive and you're also trying to hold eye contact and you're feeling all this anxiety inside. And then she gives the answer and then she says nurse and you say nurse. And so you repeat back what she says with this upward pitch tonality very quickly, and then you go into your next question. How long you been doing that? Oh, 4 years. 4 years. Where did you go to school? Oh, I went to Kane. Oh, Kane. Wait, where's that? Is that in Jersey? Oh no, that's in blank. Oh, cool. How was that? And so you get into this question, short answer, panic, repeat back her answer, next question. That's the question hamster wheel of death as you keep trying to tread water, stay afloat in the interaction. But the problem is that you can only do that for so long before the conversation gets really boring. And what's going to ultimately happen is the vibe's just going to fizzle out. Now, even if the girl's polite, even if the girl likes you, she's probably going to ask you these questions in between as well. Like if you say, oh, how long have you been doing that? Let's say the girl really likes you. She might say, well, what about you? And then you're going to say your answer. And it just kind of stays on this boring surface level where it either is just a very friendly interaction that ends in a nice to meet you, or the vibe fizzles out in the first 1 to 2 minutes, which is like typically what I experience with my clients when they're in this level of the program. When they're right at around starting to ask more questions and carry a conversation, the first sticking point is getting them beyond 30 seconds to 1 minute in a conversation consistently with attractive women. So how do we do this? Well, instead of going question, it's okay to ask questions. The thing is though, is you don't want to just jump into the next question. So she's going to give you an answer. I'll show you it with a couple different ones. And I don't even have any of this rehearsed yet, but let's just say she says nurse. Now, instead of going into the next question, you need to think about how can I give my own personal input on the topic of conversation, which in this case is nurse, or in this case is she's from Jersey, or she lives in Miami, or she's a junior in college, or whatever the topic is. She's going to give you an answer. I want you to do anything other than ask another question. Okay? What I'd rather you do is you start elaborating on your own personal experience about that answer. And I don't care what it is, because even if she says something that you have no idea about, I still want you to talk about what comes to your brain when you hear that thing. Another thing you could do is you could even comment on the way she answered the question. So let's say she says Miami, right? Because I'm in Miami, but let's say you've never been to Miami. And so you're like, well, Kyle, like, I don't know how to talk about Miami because I've never been to Miami. I don't care. You can still talk about it. You could talk about what you would imagine that thing would be like, or how you've actually never been there, but you wanted to go there and you actually had an invite to go there last winter for your friend's wedding, but you weren't able to make it, right? I don't care what it is. It's like you talk about what you would imagine that thing to be. Or a completely different way is she answers the question enthusiastically. You could comment on her excitement around the thing or her negativity around the thing. I want you to do anything other than ask another question. If she says Miami and she's like excited, you could be like, wow, you completely just lit up when you said Miami. You must have like this love for Miami, right? Like you comment on that thing. Or let's just say it's the opposite. Let's say I'm saying, how's your day going? Like, it's good. Most people, they just go into the next question or the conversation just dies there. You could comment on the emotion behind the thing. If someone says it in like a dull way, you could be like, damn, I'm kind of like you. I'm like, yeah, it's Monday and I'm like not excited about it. Kind of wishing it was still the weekend. Honestly, I had such a long weekend that my body didn't even adapt yet to jump back into work mode yet, right? So again, there was no question there and there was no positive response from the person. I guess what I'm trying to show you is it doesn't matter if they give you a one-word answer. It doesn't matter if they're enthusiastic. It doesn't matter if they're negative in their answer. All you want to do is give some sort of lengthy answer. You either talk about your own experience with the thing or you comment on the emotion behind their answer. Those are like two powerful things that I notice I do a lot in my interactions, and it breaks away from this hamster wheel. Okay, so if you're watching this, you need to start practicing this in your day-to-day. You do not wait until you're in the interaction with the hot girl to start practicing this. You do this with every interaction. You're at the checkout, at the grocery store. Ask them, how's your day going, by the way? And then when they say, good, get ready. I want you to comment on the way they say good. I want you to elaborate on how your day's been going so far. I want you to do anything other than ask that person another question. This is a skill set that you could practice in every interaction. You're talking to your best friend, you're talking to your mom at dinner tonight, you're at the grocery store, or you are in that interaction with that really attractive woman. You do anything other than default to your next question. Okay, this is how you will become a really good conversationalist, and people will start asking you questions, because if you're always asking the question and they're always just giving the answer and then you're panicking going into the next question, it's a very one-sided type of conversation that doesn't lead anywhere. They don't get excited. There's no room for them to invest in the interaction either. But if they say something and you start talking now we have sentences with different hooks of bait that they could respond to. And so that's how you get to a point where maybe they didn't give you much, but now with your answer, they acknowledge something you said and maybe they have something to elaborate on, or they ask you a question about that. And now the interaction actually becomes no longer just one-sided of you chasing and trying to get the conversation off the ground. That's how you avoid the conversation hamster wheel. Now, obviously there's a variety of other techniques that you could really do to become a master of conversation, but I wanted to give you guys something very easy and practical for you to start doing right now in your day-to-day conversations. Now, if you've been watching the content and your conversations or your dating life or your social confidence really isn't changing, because that's how I was too. I watched all the content, nothing really changed in my life. If that's you and you're ready to make a change, I would love to help you make that transformation. There's an in-depth video right below this in the description. I want you to click that video right now and watch it, because I lay out my transformation, my clients' transformations, and I lay out my program too. I show you more about the step-by-step structure and how you could implement it in your own life to really make a transformation as well. Okay, links down below. Check that out right now. That's all for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.